Hello and welcome everyone to the first episode of Essydo Podcast after a very long time. I've been absent for over a year, no podcast episodes, no articles. There was just one article, I guess, or two over the last year or 1.5 years. It has been a very busy time for me. I was not, kind of demotivated or any sorts of that. Nothing bad happened. Actually, something very good happened because I was able to fulfill a lifelong, I wouldn't say dream, but a goal. I accomplished a very important goal as I've been working on a very important project. I wrote a book. I got it right here. It's this beauty right here. It's called DEVLET, as you can see. It is. This is the hardcover version of it, and I'm actually very proud to present it to you. As you can see, Essydo Magazine is the publisher, right? So it is published under the name of Essydo Magazine. This is what I've been working on over the last year. It was I was planning on writing it, or actually I wrote a couple of passages, like the first passages or so, 4 years ago, but I wasn't able to thoroughly kind of build on that first, how do you say, like the fundament or the idea, the most basic kind of construct of thinking about writing this book. And then finally, last year in August, I started from scratch and was very eager to finish it, which I did and published it. This is the softcover version, right? You can get both versions on Amazon and other online bookstores. It is on-demand printing, so it is currently only available on demand. And even if on Amazon it says temporarily out of stock, you can still order it because it's on demand and they will print it and send it to you. So I will put the links down below so you can order it from everywhere. Basically, there's worldwide shipping. And yes, this is DEVLET, right? So the great project that I was able to finish and publish on November 29th. And this episode is going to discuss this book in a bit more detail because I'm going to use the content of the book to, basically to build all the consecutive ideas, articles, and analysis on the concepts and the teachings of the book. This is not to say that I'm strictly going to analyze everything from like the book as a guide, and putting it next to it and using it all the time. But I'm definitely, and you'll read it and hear it, that I'm very influenced by the ideas that I basically established myself, right? And the content is about a new state theory, a whole new approach to politics, how politics should be structured. It's less about how it is structured. There is a very detailed critique of how things are currently going, and leaning on that, the new construct is established. This is very important, and I think you can also hear it from the podcast and also read it in the articles, because I'm not here to describe anything, right? I'm not here to tell you, okay, this and this happened here and there. I mean, you can read it everywhere. I can give you the best news sites or name you my favorite ones, and you can just go ahead and read it. And just as I'm not describing anything in the articles or in the podcast episodes, this book is not just critiquing what is going wrong currently, but it's also giving you a proposal. How can we improve it? How can we do it better? And what is the way to go, actually? And this is what I really enjoy doing. And this is also why I'm picking up this magazine, this article writing for the magazine and the podcast up again, because I think if you want to have information, you can find them everywhere. But to have an analysis that goes beyond it and actually explains something or tries to explain, I mean, I'm very open to dialogue, and I always enjoy the requests and the messages from you guys, also from my friends and family, because I don't think that describing anything or describing things on the internet is adding any value to it if you're not like a big news outlet. So I'm enjoying the discussion, the dialogue. This is what I do here, and I'm applying the analytical concepts and constructs, the theories, to all sorts of problems. I'm trying to make sense of it and also come up with ideas and potential courses of action, policies, and so on and so forth. And this is the exact same thing that I'm doing in the book, because I'm proposing a new state system, basically, also with material and structural changes to contemporary systems, right? But also on a philosophical and logical level, how to approach things. So, having built this concept of devletism, which is why the book is called DEVLET, right? I'm going to base the content or lean it on the teachings and the ideas from the book. So you'll find it every now and then more explicitly, or rather implicitly. So this episode is going to be a good starting point for you guys to understand how to read and to listen to the upcoming podcasts or articles, right? So starting off with the idea or with the name, I think would be best, because devlet means state in Turkish. As you might know, the Turkish states reach back, I think around three centuries or so, and the administrative systems of the Turkish states are one of the oldest. So a lot of things that we today have in public administration comes from Turkish statecraft, and I think it was a very suitable occasion to name it after such a long-lasting tradition of public administration. So what I did is I developed the concept of devletism, leaning on the word devlet, the state. So statism, if you want to translate it one-on-one, but not statism in the sense of political science that we know today. But rather it is, I can also give you the exact definition, which is somewhere in the front, it's the second page actually. So the definition of devletism is a form of societal organization that aims for joint and continuous progression through the advancement of genuine knowledge. And it is born out of the idea or the thinking that in contemporary systems, states are often driven by considerations of power and wealth. So states either concentrate on expanding their power or the wealth and prosperity for their citizens, right? And often they do both, in a very unique mix from country to country. But there are no states that go beyond that, right? And the big problem with it is that power is a relational concept, meaning that whenever power exists, you have to have somebody else existent as well, because you can just measure power against the existence or the power of other people and actors that are relevant to you, right? So if I'm the only person on this planet, my power means nothing, because I don't have anything to measure it against, right? Same goes for wealth, and I mean even more clearly than power. Wealth is very relational as well, because money is a good or a means of exchange, and exchange naturally needs at least two actors, right? But also wealth in the sense of material wealth. If you have like a very nice, wood cabin or something like that, and you're just 2 or 3 people on the planet Earth, it means that the beauty or like the comparison of your cabin or whatever shelter you have is relational to the others. If they do not exist, you don't have anything to measure it against. So these are two relational concepts, and I find that quite problematic. If you think about it, states solely base their decisions and behavior on the assumption that others are there. They're actually focusing more on the others than on themselves, and this is really not, in my opinion, the purpose of a state which is entrusted with the advancement of the society. So I had to look elsewhere. And I went back to the example of thinking about the sole person, the very lonely, alone person on the planet, who has, nothing to hold on to, as a motivational driver for the behavior, because power is not relevant, wealth is not relevant. So, and this is something that is picked up here in the definition as well. It is knowledge, actually, because even if you're alone, you're still going to look up to the stars and wonder what is going on there, right? You're still going to look up at the moon. You're going to view the mountains and say, wow, it's very interesting, how come that there are mountains? How come the sea is there? And so on and so forth. These are very basic questions, but I think you get the idea. And asking these questions, even if you're the only person on this planet, right, will remain interesting to you. And no matter which question you solve, right, or answer, the next one up is not going to be less interesting to you, because the value of it is the same. The journey and the curiosity is going to stay the same, which is not the case with power. I mean, at some point you have so much power that the next unit of power you have is not going to mean as much as the previous one. Same goes with money, and this is again going to illustrate it a bit more precisely, because if you have 1 billion euros, right, the next euro that you're going to earn is going to have less value for you as if you have only 100 euros, because then the next euro you're going to earn is going to be more valuable to you than if you would have 1 billion in the bank. So this is what I mean with relational and also decreasing return of excitement or interest, if we want to put it into finance wording, right? But that's the whole point. That knowledge is actually the only thing that is not going to be less interesting as you find out more. Because we could say, I mean, we know how gravity works, speed of light and everything. All right, that's fine. But the next questions are just as interesting, right? Because then we ask, is time travel possible? How is the constellation of certain galaxies? How do they move? Are there other forms of energy, and so on and so forth? So we continue asking these questions because this is what drives us. This is what in my opinion, and this is also written down here, this is the purpose of our existence, because this is the only thing that does not need anything else to exist in order to exist itself. This is the basic concept, and related to that, we just have to find or can apply the concept of knowledge production. It is called genuine knowledge production here, onto different settings in life, especially here in politics, right? And because of that, because this is so important to generate knowledge, DEVLETism actually defends that states ought to provide or provide the environment and setting for people and its citizens to engage in genuine knowledge, develop themselves. This is not just science, and it's not just scientific questions, but this can be art, this can be music, this can be literature, this can be sports, whatever is close to the talent that you have in you intrinsically when you're born. And advancing this and having the opportunity to do that is going to put a society into a very good position, because they can progress more efficiently and more effectively. When a lot of people who find their talent and gift, and the state provides them with the setting, that they can easily do so, then this society is going to progress and advance much faster, much better, much more efficient than others. I mean, this is obviously not a competition, but we can also put it into perspective of the contemporary system. So if we have the system right now, and where states are focused on increasing the material wealth, everybody runs around with nicely branded clothes, designer clothes and stuff, nice cars and stuff. But this is not really progress. This is not advancement in the sense that I've just described. Because if no one else is there to say, "Oh, you have a nice car and you have nice clothes," this is not progress. It's just nothing. Because the relationship is not there. But when states start to shift from this thinking of we need to have a more prosperous population to we need to have a more knowledgeable and cognitively advanced society, it does not matter if other societies are existent or not, or how they behave and stuff. You concentrate on yourself, you advance, and you're going to have people who are making life better and easier in this country. Because all the other stuff, such as peace, security, wealth, these are preconditions to even more efficient accumulation and development of knowledge. So if you focus on knowledge, the other factors that we are currently focusing on, they'll be just a side product. We just on the run. We just accomplish them while we focus on the major aim to get more knowledge and develop ourselves. And this is what states should be for. At least this is the idea that I'm defending here. And without diving into too much detail, this is the very basic principle. This is the very basic idea. And I'm also applying it to a bunch of different situations, such as education system, which is the most important part, probably within the policy section, because I'm also going through all the policy areas. Then obviously environment, foreign policy, economics, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of, if you will, somewhat a guide to politicians. At least it was written with this idea in mind, that it could guide politicians to a more efficient system. So that's the basic idea of DEVLET, and I'm going to pick it up in the future. I'm going to use it and view things from that perspective. But nevertheless, it's an interesting read, because people who are familiar with political science and political philosophy, especially state theory, will find elements of a bunch of great authors there. I'm obviously influenced by them, and I appreciate their work and their contribution to this field of science. There are very influential writers, that you can here and there, feel a little bit the vibe of them in this book. And it was very fun writing it, actually. I really enjoyed it. I was a bit sad that I didn't have the time to put the work into the articles and the podcasts and stuff, but this is hopefully going to change in the future now that this is out there. And yeah, I hope to provide you with more good quality content and analysis. And just keep in mind, I'm not here to describe anything. I'm not going to summarize stuff for the sake of summarizing it. I'm not going to do that. Obviously, some explanations and summaries for certain topics are going to be part of my videos and articles as well. But the main focus is on explaining stuff. Why do certain phenomena occur? Why do certain events played out the way they did? And more importantly, how can we change that? How can we tackle it? What were the options? What could have been done differently, than it actually turned out to be? So these are all questions that I love to answer, and I hope with your contribution, with your dialogue, and with your interest in all that, we'll have a great time. So always welcome to also leave your feedback. As I said, I can highly recommend this book to you. Yeah? I can highly recommend it to you. Amazon and other sites. I'm going to put the link down below. I hope you enjoy it, and I also hope to see you back soon. So take care. My name is Emil Schenturk. This is Essydo Podcast. Take care. Bye.